Democrats search for answers after Vice President Harris's crushing electoral defeat. Her campaign aides are breaking their silence. They're defending their overall strategy from spending to messaging, but critics say they're just shifting the blame. Let's bring in Democratic strategist Melissa DeRosa. Great to see you, Melissa. And before we talk, I just want to play a clip of Jen O'Malley-Dillon, who, as you well know, ran the Harris campaign to a large extent. It seems emblematic to me of the problems Democrats are having in digesting this defeat. Here's Jen O'Malley-Dillon.
Being up against a narrative that we weren't doing anything or we were afraid to have interviews is completely and also took hold a little bit. And we just gave us another thing we had to fight back for that Trump never had to worry about.
It seems a little odd to me, Melissa, that there's all this talk about did we or did we not do enough interviews? Should we or shouldn't we have talked to Joe Rogan? I mean, perhaps the simple answer is what they should have done was talk more about the economy and how they were going to fix it, more about the border and how they were going to fix it. It seems to me that Democrats, to a large extent, just missed the mood of the country. What say you?
Jonathan, I can't agree with you more. I mean, and especially that clip, Jen O'Malley-Dillon and others going on Pod Save America is literally the Obama people talking to themselves about how we screwed up this election, which I think is sort of emblematic of how we got here. The Democratic Party was co-opted by a bunch of elites in places like the MSNBC and forgot the people that they purport to represent. The two issues over and over again, every poll told us, we didn't have to guess, were the economy and not Wall Street going gangbusters, but inflation, which was crushing American families, and the border. And Kamala Harris never had a good answer for either. And so, yes, she didn't do enough interviews. Yes, she didn't even show up to Al Smith. They blew through $1.5 billion and on and on and on. But at its core, they lost the American people. And that's why Donald Trump did as well as he did in this election.
And it's pretty extraordinary to think, Melissa, that the party that has always labeled itself or considered itself the party of the people loses such a crushing defeat to a man who is allegedly a billionaire who somehow is able to speak far more directly and appeal far more directly to those people. I mean, it's extraordinary to me.
No, it really is. Look, the coalition of the Democratic Party, the backbone of the Democratic Party was the union movement, or it once was. It's the working man and woman. We were supposed to be the voice for the people who were the most vulnerable, who couldn't defend themselves, didn't have a seat at the table. And really, in the last several years, you have seen the party completely miss the mark and forget who it's supposed to be there to fight for. And Donald Trump, to his credit, swooped in and he chipped away at the Latino base. He chipped away at Black men, younger voters, working class voters, and he, in essence, co-opted the Democratic coalition. And I think that Democrats have to do a lot of introspection coming off of this election if they want to not repeat the same thing both in the midterms and 4 years from now. And it's not going to be going on Pod Save America.
Right. So let's look at 4 years from now. It's never too early to handicap the next race. It'll be an open nomination process, obviously, which, as we know, it wasn't this time. Some of the front runners up on screen there: Kamala Harris, obviously, Gavin Newsom, governor of California, Gretchen Whitmer, Josh Shapiro, Pete Buttigieg, J.B. Pritzker, and AOC, perhaps. Who do you think is going to emerge from that pack as the leader of the Democratic Party?
I think it is way too soon to even be talking about the fourth race 4 years from now. But I will say two things about two of the people that were just up on the screen. Number one, there's a reason Kamala Harris was so roundly rejected in the 2020 Democratic primary. Democrats did not choose her. The party elders chose her. The politicians chose her. So 4 years from now, I do not see her being the cream that rises to the top. And the other person, AOC, I mean, my God, if Democrats have not learned our lesson from this past election, we've got to move away from the fringe and back to the center and remember that this country does not want an extremist. And so the idea that AOC's name is popping up makes me fear that we're really not learning the lesson.
Really interesting. Great talking to you, Melissa. Thank you so much. Democratic strategist Melissa DeRosa, thanks for joining us.